early in the day, I said, and in the notes, I posted if we crack 18 and we hold it, there's a very high chance you're going to go to new all-time highs. And that's pretty much what happened today, right? They really wanted it and they got it once they cleared this from the notes on Sunday or whenever we did the watch list, I believe it was Sunday. Single prints, if you're above this at some point, right, and you hold it, you're going to go and clear the all-time highs, and that's kind of what happened. In terms of profile and how they did it, well, I don't know. I'm not convinced yet that they are fully aligned in moving the value higher, right? And how can you tell that? Well, when you're playing at all-time highs, what is for instance, tomorrow, if you're a bull, you don't want to see something. What is that something that?
Under prior all-time high.
Well, for one, we don't want to see any auction take place below this, right? Because that would mean that your value that you're trying to break out. Because remember, what does market do? Market goes from where to where?
Balance to imbalance.
So in this case, right, what we're trying to say is that we're in balance in 2 weeks, and now we're trying to go up. And in order for balance to be accepted, right, when they go above it and they do this has to hold. To be confirmed, you want to go higher. If you lose this, and then let's say you come in and you struggle to go above this, what do you know about the breakout that occurred here? This breakout. What do you know? They open below it and then they can crack above it. What do you know about this level then? Was it ready for markup?
No, they can't crack it.
Yeah, markup just means imbalance, means that we have so much demand on something that we're going to mark up the prices because the demand is so high. Right? Think of iPhone. Anyone have iPhone 4? Nobody? Okay.
No, it's obsolete.
No, that's my backup phone. So, iPhone 4. How much was iPhone 4 or 5?
$400.
Okay, and iPhone 17 is
1,000.
okay, and it does something different. What does phones do differently?
They let us look into TPOs, man. It's awesome.
So the only thing that changed is added value for individual users, but the users accepted the price of $1,500 a pop. So they slowly but surely, right? They came here, users accepted it, demand was flat. No, people didn't switch from iPhone 10 to 12 or whatever. And then they slowly come in. And now the price has been pretty flat at $1,200, I think, for phones. And people are buying it, right? So next time, what they need to do is add some feature, right? I don't think they're first to the market anymore, but it's the acceptance. You're going in a stagnant price and you increase it, but you have to see if, is the quantity demanded is the same or increasing at that price level that you put it up. If the quantity demanded is dropping, what do you know about the price?
Not getting accepted.
Not being accepted, right? People don't like it. Therefore, what do you have to do if the quantity demand is decreasing as you increase the price?
Lower the price.
Yeah, you have to lower the price, right? To find the buyers. So same here. We were happy trading, in this balance that we talked about, right? If you guys remember, we drew something like this. It was a 2-week. We had the SIGs. Let me make sure I have it right. So where's PVP? So here's this, right? So we're almost now in 3-week balance, right? So let's do this. So what do you notice? First thing, what do you guys notice from when we drew it Sunday to now? What is happening?
We've peaked above.
Value area high is lower.
Okay. This is sig 2. This is sig 1. So is the value area lower or shifting higher?
It's shifting higher. They're exploring value higher.
Yeah, so they're shifting the value. So this value shifted from here to here. Is that correct? And then the bottom one also shifted from here to here. Okay, so we're still in balance, right? We broke out of this. And tomorrow, if we can agree that this is a breakout, right, that we are ready to go. And what that means is that we have so much pent up demand that we are ready to mark up these prices and see it fly. If you can't hold 57, what's most likely going to happen is that, you know, from higher time frame level, from 2 weeks level, there's probably a high chance you're going to come back somewhere around this 39 or so level, right? But then you look at the daily profile and it should give you some insight, right? What's happening. You guys remember the 7-Eleven level?
Yep.
Gas station.
Yeah. Remember we talked about the gas station, 7-Eleven? Where did the POC migrate? The CPOC, remember we marked two. One was a 6670 and the other high volume node was 6693. Believe it or not, this level played a major role for market, right? You see how well that they defended that high volume node? They went in, and I mean, ever since basically they've just been running it. So now, if you can hold, for instance, let's say this all-time high, based on these higher levels, right? Very high chance you go to 40, and then ultimately this 7-Eleven, if you fail 40, I guarantee you're going here. Well, how do I know? Well, let's check what did the, today's price action do. Is this a pretty convincing profile for you guys?
No.
No.
I mean, this is far from it, right? So this looked like it's going to be most likely a liquidation in a P-shaped profile, right? And I would say a lot of people got, heavily excited for it. And then they got, most shorts, even though it could have been a valid short, there was a warning sign on this profile that they want to go higher. And whoever gets this, I'll reward you. What is the warning sign on this profile?
B-shape.
Well, B-shapes means longs are liquidated. That's where shorts got excited, right?
You close above the mid and you hit a spike.
Yes. It closed above the mid. If you guys remember the notes in volume profile class, what does it say that invalidates the lowercase b? You guys remember something with the fibs? You guys remember this? So if I go 50%, which would be the mid, if you close above the 50, it says it in the yellow notes on the volume profile class. If you close above the 50% on this one, most likely that liquidation will be invalidated. And if you guys remember, whenever you have it, we pay attention to the value of that. And if how you open and how you react to it plays a big role. Now you take a look at it. As soon as you saw that they're respecting this, and this was on multiple levels here, right? At one point on the weeklies, there was single prints. Remember the weekly VWAP? Do you guys recall that when we charted it? Weekly VWAP is here, right? At that time when we charted this. But now weekly VWAP, of course, is rising. But this defended, and they also defended this value here. What are they telling you about this value from day prior? Well,
They're rejecting it.
they're rejecting it.
Accepting higher.
They want the price to go higher. So as soon as I said, I mentioned the level today and multiple times last night, the 18 is very important for today. And I even made a statement that if you lose 18, most likely you're going to go all time above, you go all time high, below, it's a disaster. Why is that? Well, what did you have here? So let me zoom in so you guys can see it.
It's a separation of value in the single print.
The separation of value in single prints here happens to be the halfback, the prior day's value area high. You know how quickly we would have gone to the bottom here if they would have lost this today? I promised you wouldn't have even seen the candle. I mean, that would have meant somebody else stepped in and is, again, liquidating. And then the faster they came here, the more eager he was to sell. But instead, what do? Well, how do I trap these guys? And what did they do here on today's profile? I'm sorry, yesterday's profile. What did they do here? That's interesting. Besides coming to that 93, they left what?
Poor low.
Poor low, right? So either we're coming to a HVN, right, which at one point was a resistance. At one point it was a resistance here. Then they dipped below it. Now they're coming and they're going above and coming for a retest. Does that mean there's exhaustive sellers here? Well, so far, that's what it means. Because if it was not exhaustive sellers, what would you have seen today? You clearly would not have seen upper price action, correct? You would have seen them clean this up and continue where the auction failed. So today they did the opposite. And in terms of profile, they're giving you a lot of clues, how you can play this. So one of them is if we open below this level, there's a high chance we can, separate some values based on today. Based on the higher time frames, remember when we did it on a weekly and we had a couple of zones, we treated this section here as what? Because remember, at one point, this was all it is at this point. Remember how we called it a penthouse? It was a key level. If they can get in and they want to trade above, then most likely they're going to go to the all-time highs. That was the final stage, right? And then you had a couple of zones. Remember, we talked about splitting these zones in multiple ways. It was somewhere around here and then another one here and below. We had them color coded. So same thing is happening on today's profile. So here's this. So obviously you have the L period right here, put in the high. But what about right here? Remember, more than 3 TPOs makes up what? 3 TPO wide makes up what?
The ledge.
Ledge or distribution, right? So in this case, right, we have a couple of distributions that you guys can play with, right? So one is that you have a distribution that's here, separated by single prints. Then you have another one that's pretty tight, separated here. And then, sure, we can treat this as a third distribution, but there's only, 3 places where the price traded with, 3 TPOs, right here and here. So if they can hold this 57, the odds they are going to the bottom of these single prints here are is what? I'm pretty sure that they're going to tap it as soon as they crack 57. They're most likely going to come back unless they did it here overnight in OVN. I'm not sure what they're doing. So most likely they're going to come here. And this would be a good place to do what? If you're a market maker, what do you want to do here? Look what's below. You have a couple of EWOPs, right? I think there's a. Let's remove. I think that's. Let's see. So you have the monthly VWAP sitting here, right? Even though the month just started. And you have the TPOC, and you're right below the single print. So this becomes a perfect spot for what? Let me look below this. Let me come here. And if I can do something like this, what do you want to do?
Long.
What's your target?
That SIG.
Anyone
That
else?
value very high.
Anyone else?
Or high.
The middle of that distribution.
Odds are that they might
Oh,
probably
okay.
come for the poor high, right? If they left this and they're rejecting the lower value, what are they telling you they want? This is where traders short themselves, right? It's becoming day to day because why? Why is it now more day to day than anything else? Why do I have to treat it day to day?
All-time highs.
I have anything else, guys? I don't have anything to look to the left. So if they tell me that they don't want here, that means they want to explore higher. So I'll target where they failed last time and where they're going to come and fix it. So this poor highs becomes important. So you want to watch for this first zone being split as a trap. You know, some people call it what, LBAF, look below and fail. That's basically an acronym or a shortcut for it. The same thing here, right? These are your zones that you're paying attention to, and then you see the value area high is pretty up there, right? It's pretty high all the way here. And then if you check, for instance, on the volume distribution, here's your volume. So where's majority of the volume?
Per range.
Top.
At the top.
Shorty, also technically there are some single prints between 57 and 60 because that was N period next to J.
Oh, you're talking about here? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, it is split apart. Does everybody see it? Thanks for calling it out. So, I mean,
And shorty, that is because we don't consider N period.
yeah, you don't count M period for some reason. I don't know why. I thought I didn't have it. But yes, N period you did not count. So when you break this down, this period here, I'm just going to hide this for a moment. This period here doesn't matter. So what happens in the price action here is, you know, you consolidate it here, but not a lot of selling seems like. Then H period made higher high. Inside period, J period clears that value higher. You see how aggressive they were. And then they're consolidating here, right? And then M period and then close, right? The settle price is here within this value, but this period here created single prints because there's nothing left there. There's no price traded day before. Does that make sense? Why is it single print? There's no periods for this day, right? And your day is starting right here. Let me give you a visual. So it won't be perfect, but here, everything to the right is today, right? Besides this end period. But you see, you have A period high, B period, and you see them doing something really nice here between B, C, and D. They're framing up nicely the whole period, the whole time. Does that make sense? They shifted, and this is your single prints, right? And basically on 30-minute candles, it just will be a wick here and a wick here, and that's a single print right here. And that is this. When you think about buyers, is this limit buyers coming in here?
Notional buying.
Are they a limit?
No initiative.
Yeah,
Market buy.
these are market buys. So when they're market buys, that means they do imbalances. They basically, if you think about the order book, right? In order for price to move from one point to another, right? And if this was our ask, right? Ask is on the right. Maybe I should not grab this guy. What in the world did I do? Oh God. What are these squares? And if this is my bid, and then you have the price, let's say right here, different price levels. Well, if I want to move the price that's sitting currently at this level here, and I want to go up here, and there are, limit orders, let's say 300 here on the ask side, right? On the limit cell. They have that here, and the current price, let's say here, and this is just a lesson for some of you guys that haven't maybe understand it. So let's say this price is 1,000, and the next price would be, what did it change from? And if this is 2,000, in order for me to get to $2,000 price, what has to happen with these 300 orders sitting here?
You have to get bought out.
So somebody has to say, hey, Mark, you buy these 300 and sweep the order book, and then we go to the next level. Does this make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it's fairly important that most of you guys understand this along with the auction process, right? And the hard part about this and trading is when you see stuff on the ask side, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a buyer. Right? It could be what?
Passive seller.
Yeah, passive seller on the ask side. So you have aggressive buyer and a passive seller. On the bid side, you have what? Aggressive seller
passive
and a
buyer.
passive buyer. So that's why order matching, when people tell you I can order match, just laugh, because there's no way to order match. Promise you can make assumptions based on context and clues, but there's no way to match. So this is what happened here is that somebody was so eager, right? You think about, what they're giving to you here as a retail trader. What does this look like? What does this look like to you? If you trade patterns, what is it?
Bull flag.
Bull flag.
Oh man, that's a bull flag. Let me do the measured move. Bull flag. Bull flag. Remember, I'm on 30 minutes. This looks better on 5 minutes with him. Bull flag, bull flag. But at some point, you have to understand the dynamics, right? As you go higher, is the volume picking up? Is the value area shifting with you as you go higher? Isn't that how we measure if the move is kind of valid or not? So today, the value checks out, right? Anyone disagree? Value shifted, right? They went from the bottom. They're trying to shift the value, but tomorrow they fail here, right? This 57 becomes very, very crucial. Considering that it's all-time high and single prints, you lose this, you're most likely going here, 48, and ultimately I would say you're going to be in this area here. And if they fail this zone right here, if they fail here, they're in trouble. Because what happens below in terms of price acceptance? Did they reject this strongly here?
No, it flies down.
Don't fly down else. It's just gonna, I would say there's a very high chance that you're gonna be, I would say this CPOC here now. This is a major POC now. I would just mark that one. And then you have the high volume node here. You don't have to call it this. You can call it HVN. And then this was your prior CPOC here, which is also high volume node. Does everybody understand what that means? So tomorrow, as the price goes here, like 155, you'll see. So now look where all the volume happened, right? So the volume is just going to tell you there's a lot of volume here, which means the fair price is at that 67.11, call it, right, level. Below that, you see a massive node, then you see a skinny belly LVN, where basically they did not have much volume here. They did spend some quality time here, but just not a lot of volume here. So not a lot of time here, not a lot of time here. 3 days they ignored it. Then they came back and filled it. They, gapped down and they came back and they had this awkward profile, if you guys remember. So they filled it in, but it's not that much compared to the rest. Seems like the fair value is here. So if they can hold this 57, I'm telling you, the odds are from structure and acceptance, you're looking more like you want to do this. Does it make sense to everyone? This level has to hold tomorrow at the breakout level at all-time highs. And there's too much on it that, let me see, where are we? Okay, so look what they held now.
They tested it, yeah.
And man, I think everybody in retail bought this. And I mean, that's 14 points. It becomes easy money for retail, but it becomes much easier money in bulk for larger firms. And the reason why it becomes easier for them to make money off of you, do you know how?
Trap up top.
Well, they know you're gonna buy here.
Yeah.
And then they know they're gonna give you a bull flag, you're gonna buy it. And then the more they do it, and the more better news come out, people start feeling a little bit FOMO, and they're like, man, this is never coming back down. This isn't, of course, maybe, markets tend to go up. I'm not pessimistic, but it's not a best place to be long on the market right now. This is still discovery. It's overnight. Ideally, what you want to see this and then come back. It's a 2-week bracket, right? Go away. Show us that this imbalance is really being accepted. Let it go. And then come back to a point that we can be like, okay, well, let's show up. And that's where you can expect other time frame people to show up. When you're not too far and you're already being rejected, that's not good. That's not very bullish. You want this price to go. And I would say them holding 57 is critical, and they will continue to go based on this. You can also figure out tomorrow where their first target will be if they decide to go using some fibs. So 67.82 is what they're going to tap tomorrow, as long as this 57 is held. Is there any other ways you guys can? We covered it last time. I just want to see who's following. Let's say I don't know fibs. What else can I use?
Last time, like value area and then stack it on the top, like the balance.
Yeah, we talked about that. We also talked about, remember the initial balance? Right, you can take the initial balance of that one, and then you can have, 3x, 4x. And you see here 86.25 is very close to that 82.5. So that 3x, this area is probably very highly likely, right, that they're going to hit. From round numbers and news on CNN, CNBC, they're probably looking at somewhere at 7,000 that they're interested in, right? Somewhere around here, right? That would be their goal. Okay, so does this make sense? I'll trade with you guys tomorrow. I had to go to my kids. I had to go to orthodontist today for my kids. It's been a nightmare with kids. But I'll be trading live tomorrow, so we can hopefully join them or
Thank you, Shorty.
short it, right? That's the plan. Is anyone still long here on gold?
I didn't take it, no.
Okay. It's coming to a point that's becoming right here a really good long for 4,000 run. My goal is 4,000, right? I'm not selling until I get here. So this is actually a pretty good opportunity, even if you use, market profile here, it'll make sense why. This was our prior right? All-time high, and look what they're doing here. Is this bearish?
No.
Came in here, and this guy said, nope, let me get it. He took it. And then you go here, and then look, they're coming in, but that liquidation looks fairly weak. And you see the angle is dropping. It's not like it's down, it's more sloped to the flat. And then overnight profile is telling you something here as well. They dipped inside the value again, and what's happening?
It's
Oh,
rejecting.
they're rejecting. They're buying this up really, really quick. Right. So pretty certain this is headed to about 4,000. And you could use some, just even from overnight fibs, you could target 50 if you like. It moves pretty decently, as you can see. All right. Besides that, is Nasty on a call? Just want to see if Barcelona played today or not.
Licking his wounds, man.
I had to, man. He messes with me. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Sunday, my son does not have a game, so therefore we'll probably do a volume profile class. If you guys are not familiar with volume profile, you know, there are certain concepts that, of course, carry over between market profile and volume profile. But I would say the MGI between the two is maybe slightly different. One makes it easier to read, TPO, but the volume is fairly important as well. You guys have to understand volume, market profile, and understand, you know, how's it shifting, right? If you guys think about SPY, for instance, I use more volume profile in SPY than anything else, right? So, and you can see here, right? There's already some anomalies that you can see, right? Volume not really picking up, giant candle. If you look at PVP here, this is actually interesting on 12 months. So here's your profile for the year so far. What is clear to you guys so far? Yeah, you like this. I'm on weekly candles. I can even go on monthlies here and do this.
Higher prices are being accepted.
So far, higher prices are being accepted, right? You had on this candle here, you had stopping volume mainly because you went to 2024 value area low and you bounced perfectly off the bottom. If you guys remember, we said this is most likely the bottom at one point, and they bounced it. And then, you know, if you just draw some fibs from here to here, you should be able to know where they're headed. So right now, you know, we're about 127, 695 is highly doable here. And at that point, you're coming to 700, remember levels. So I don't think it's a bad target for them, but you just have to play day by day. I would not be happy swinging too much, you know, calls overnight just because the fact, you know, you can get the rug pull as well when the liquidity and they want to liquidate the longs. So play day by day, right? Avoid swinging in the market like this. When market gives you easy money, be cautious. Right. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Get some rest, and we'll trade away tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Good night.